So for the first question here, okay, two things that I identify, which is the total members of 560 and the total ratio by taking 5 plus 6 plus 3 equals to 14. Okay, so they are asking for show that the club members, okay, 240 of them is women. So 560 times 6 over 14, you should get 240. So I repeat the same thing, okay, but I change the specific group ratio into children's one, and I get the results of it as 120. So keyword here for part B is 5 over 8 of the women plays in the tournament, which indicates that 3 over 8 of them does not play. Okay, so I take 240 times 3 over 8, you will get your final results as 90. Whereby for question C, the annual membership fees in 2013 is 198 and 75 for each child. Calculate the total amount 560 members pay in 2013. So for adults, which consists of men and women, hence I calculate the numbers of adults first, which is 440, and the numbers of children, as we gotten in part A number 2, it's 120. So 440 times 198 plus 120 times 75, you should get your final results as 96,120. Whereby for C number 2, the adult fees of 198, okay, is actually 5.6% more than the fees in 2012. Okay, so 198 is the new price, whereby for 2012 is the original one. Okay, so original times 105.6% equals to 198. So divide it, then you should get your results as 187.5. For part D, first I calculate the total revenue from this is by taking 0.75 times 36, I get 27. Okay, then 27 minus the 9.5 divided by 9.5, then multiply by 100 to convert the results into percentage. So your final result should be 184.21%. So a tennis court is a rectangle with a length of 23.7 meters and a width of 10.9 meters, corrected to 1 decimal place. So key things here is to identify the rounding value. By taking 0.1 divided by 2, I know that it's either plus or minus 0.05. So for us to find the upper bound of the length, it should be taking 23.7 plus 0.05, whereby for lower, just minus it off. So repeat the same thing for the width part, then you calculate the parameters. So key things to take note is, since they mentioned the shape is rectangular, so there will be 2 length and 2 width. So after you run the calculation, your parameter upper bound should be 69.4, whereby for the lower bound it's 69. For question 2a, okay, describe P to Q. Okay, so this is actually a translation with a vector of 5, 8. Okay, and for part 2, just drawing the image when the reflection is at the line, y equals to -1. So I label it over there already. You can just double check the coordinates. Whereby for the last part, question 3, so the 2 times 2 matrix there actually indicates a rotation of 90° anti-clockwise from the origin. So I labeled the image of it as P double image. For part B, this chapter is removed. Okay, so there's nothing to worry about if you don't know how to solve this. Okay, this is actually the serious topic. For part 3, first thing first is to substitute the x value of 1.5, 3.5 and 4.5 into the function given at the top, and you get the results as 0, 2, 0, -3. So you drew down the curve over there. Okay, it should look something like this. So for part C is slightly tricky. So all you need to do is to compare the equation given with the original equation. So the main difference is this new equation that was given lacks a -1. Okay, because -11 minus -1, you get -12. Okay, which means that the other side of it, you need to put a -1. So now you get your original equation equals to -1, which indicate y equals to -1. So when your y is -1, there's two results, which is 1.3 and 4.15. There's nothing to worry about if your answer is different from mine. Okay, reason being there's a acceptable range, because each of us, when we draw the graph, it may slightly deviate. Okay, so as long as the answer falls within the range, you should be able to score it. Question D. Okay, draw this tangent. So the line over there is what I have drew. Okay, so when x equals to 0, y equals to 2. So some of you might not be able to identify this, but the question was trying to ask you to draw from the coordinate 0, 2, okay, connect it to the curve and identify at which point they intercept with each other. So based on my own drawing, the intersection point is actually 2.65 and 3.05. So same thing, there's an acceptable range. As long as your answer falls within the range, shouldn't be an issue. A continuation from part D number 1, just use the two coordinates that you have now to calculate the gradient. So y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, your final results of the gradient should be 0.4 if your coordinate is same as mine. Question 4. Calculate the area of this circle. So pi r squared, your r here is actually 8.5 as given by the keyword radius is 8.5 cm. So after the calculation, you should get 227. Whereby for you to calculate the length of MB, okay, simply takes the AB's length divided by 2. Okay, because M is actually the midpoint of the line AB. So your answer is 5.35. Whereby for section C, okay, I focuses on one particular triangle there, which is the 0M and B. So the radius is 8.5 and the MB distance is 5.35. Okay, so you will have a opposite and hypotenuse. So I will be using sine MOB, and to identify the MOB's value, I use sine inverse bracket 5.35 over 8.5. So your final result is 39 degrees. So calculate the length of major arc AC. Okay, so there's actually 439 right angle triangle over there. So 360 minus 39 times 4 is actually 204. So 204 divided by 360 times 2 pi r, you should get your results as 30.3. Okay, if you were to round it to 3 significant figures. Question E. Explain clearly why triangle ATB is congruent to CTB. So these three things here support the information, which is AB equals to BC, AT equals to TC, and BT equals to TB. So that's how you secure the 3 points over there. So Paul buys a large sack of fertilizer costing X dollar. He spent 27. So to calculate how many packs he bought is actually by taking whatever he spent divided by the cost. So 27 over X. So repeat the same. Okay, keyword here is small stack cost $2 less than the large one. So 25 divided by X minus 2. So the difference between the large sack and the small sack is 4 packets. So the small one you can actually buy more. So I put it at the front minus the bigger one equals to 4. After the calculation, you should be able to prove the results as 2x squared minus 3x minus 27. Whereby for part D, 2x squared is actually 2x times x. 9 times 3 is actually 27. I adjust it and put in the negative and positive. You should get the answer as x equals to 4.5 and x equals to negative 3. So for the last part, calculate the numbers of sack which Paul's buy. So it's actually 4.5 because negative 3 is not acceptable. Okay, so 27 divided by 4.5 equals to 6. Question 6. Okay, if we are using cosine rule to calculate the angle LMN, fill up the formula. You should be able to identify the answer as 44.4. But for you to calculate LMN, okay, I'm using the shortcut formula for irregular triangular shape. Okay, it's actually half AB times sine C. So AB here is referring to 12 and 21, and the C here is the angle in between, LMN. Okay, so it's 44.4. Run the calculation, you should get 88.2 cm squared. Whereby for part B, we are using sine rule for this. Okay, however, you're required to run manual calculation to identify PRQ's value. which is by taking 180 minus 82 minus 43 equals to 55. So sine PRQ over PQ equals to sine PQR over PR. Run the calculation, you should be able to identify PR's value as 7.74. Whereby for question 7, okay, I actually list down the full details calculation of this particular part. However, there's one thing that I would like to particularly point out, which is at question number 5. Okay, the D square there simply means matrix D multiplied by matrix D. Okay, then you should be able to get the answer. Okay, the rest you can just refer to the workings and get it sorted out. Question 8. Okay, complete the tree diagram first. He wear hat is 5 over 8, which means when he doesn't wear hat is 3 over 8. Whereby when he wears a hat, the fact that he might wear scarf is 2 over 3, which means when he doesn't wear a scarf it's 1 over 3. Whereby for the condition where there's no hat, the probability that he might wear a scarf is 1 over 6, where no scarf is 5 over 6. So part B does not wear a hat and does not wear a scarf. Simply takes 3 over 8 times 5 over 6, you will get the results. Whereby when wears a hat does not wear a scarf is by taking 5 over 8 times 1 over 3. So for condition 3, wear a hat or a scarf but not both. There's two conditions here, which is with hat but no scarf, or no hat with scarf. So add these two probability up, you will get your results as 13 over 48. So part C, they added another new things here, which is the probability that he wear a glove is 7 over 10, which means no glove is 3 over 10. So find the probability that he does not wear all three of them. So 3 over 8 times 5 over 6 times 3 over 10. The final results will be 3 over 32. Question 9. Okay, this is slightly tricky. Okay, but first thing first, what I did was to identify the interior angle, okay, using the formula, and I immediately divided by 6 because hexagon has 6 sides and they mention the keyword regular. Now that I know that the side of it is 60 now, okay, there's actually two methods to solve this. Okay, first is to use cosine rule to break down the hexagon into 3 different shapes, 2 triangles with 1 rectangle, then plus with the 6 side of the rectangle there. Okay, so the calculation is shown over there. However, I do suggest you to use the method 2 because it is easier. Okay, because all of it is actually a 6 regular equilateral triangle. Okay, so what I did was to take half times 4 times 4 times sine 60, multiply it by 6, and there's 2 of them, so that's why there's a bracket 2 outside there. Then plus the 6 rectangular surface area calculation, you will get your final results as 371. Okay, part B. So things to take note is 12 liters can be converted into 12,000 cm cube. Okay, so I'm calculating each minute how many liters can go through, which is 3 liters. Then I calculate the area of the pipe, which is pi times 0.74 square is 1.72033637. So I take 3 liters. Okay, I didn't use liters as the unit because they wanted cm over minute. So I put 3000 cm cube over the area. I get it as 1740 cm per minute. For part 2, so when the 12 liters bucket is emptied into a circular pool, the water level rises by 5 millimeters. Calculate the radius of the pool. So pi r squared times h equals to 12,000, r equals to 87. Key things here is 1 cm equals to 10 millimeters. And for 5 millimeters, it is actually 0.5 cm. Okay, hence I just set the height as 0.5 to identify the radius as 87. Question 10, relatively simple question among all the other questions that's here. First thing, at part A number 1, I change their denominator into the same, which is 20, and I get the numerator's final results as 25 minus 8x. Similar method was used in part 2 as well, and you will have a denominator of 3 bracket x plus 3, whereby for the numerator it is actually 2x squared plus 5x plus 9 after the calculation. For part B, okay, I'm using elimination method. So I took part 2, multiply both sides of the variables by 3. I changed the entire equation 2 into 9x plus 12y equals to negative 30. So I take equation 3 minus by equation 1. I get my final results as 14y equals to negative 42, y equals to negative 3. So when your y is negative 3, I substitute it back in to equation 1, and my final results for that after the calculation will be x equals to 2. Question C, okay, I extracted 7 from the numerator and I have a balance of x plus 3, whereby for the denominator I run the factorization. I get it as 2x plus 3 and x plus 3. So the x plus 3 is repeating here. So after you cross them off, your final results will be 7 over 2x plus 3. Question 11. Okay, question A is pretty straightforward. Okay, so I'm using Pythagoras theorem to solve this question. OP1 squared plus P1 P2 squared equals to OP2 squared. By running the calculation, getting rid of the square, your answer should be square root 10. Okay, so for part B, the keyword here is mathematically similar. Okay, so if you're unfamiliar with this concept, okay, there's a link in the right hand corner. You can click on it and watch the mathematically similar topic video first. So you will be comparing both sides of the right angle triangle. Okay, since they are not area or volume, okay, they are just side, you're not required to do any changes. Okay, just basic comparison will get you the answer. So OP1 over P1 P2 is being compared to OP2 over P2 P3. Okay, so you will get 3 over 1 equals to square root 10 over P2 P3. Okay, cross multiply them, divide it by 3 to get your P2 P3 as square root 10 over 3. So for you to find the OP3, since you have the value of OP2 and P2 P3, you can now run the Pythagoras theorem to get your final answer as 10 over 3. Over at C, okay, you have two options here. Either you do the manual calculation for every single triangle that was there, or you can simply treat it as a sequence. Okay, so from square root 10 it becomes 10 over 3, which means that the term by term difference here is actually a multiplication of square root 10 over 3. Okay, so I multiply 10 with square root 10 over 3, I get my OP4 as 10 square root 10 over 9, and the next one multiply by square root 10 over 3 again, you will get your final answer as 100 over 27. As for part D, okay, this is just your basic trigonometry. So we'll be using tangent unknown, okay, which is the angle we are focusing at, equals to its opposite, which is 1, and adjacent, which is 3. By running inverse tangent, you will get your final results as 18.4. So they asked you to write down the size of angle P2 or P3. So this is a thing about mathematically similar. Okay, since they are mathematically similar, all the angle will be the same. So there's actually no calculation required for this. Okay, so you get your final answer as 18.4 as well. So part 3 is actually the tricky part again. So as you all know, a full circle will get you 360 degrees. Okay, so the things that I did was to take 360, divide by 18.4. You will get your answer as 19.5, etc. But since they mentioned they don't want it to overlap, so I rounded down into 19. Okay. However, this is not the end. So you actually need to focus at the angle. So I actually label it down 1, 2, 3, 4 over there. Okay, which means the last triangle, okay, will have a 19 labeled down. So 19, I trace it back down. 19 is actually equals to n minus 1. So your n final value will actually be 20. So that's pretty much it for this particular set. I hope you find it helpful and do share it to your friends that are struggling. Okay, I wish you all the best for your upcoming examination. Thank you.